How's it going, everybody? Getting a nice Saturday morning shave in. Today we're going to be using a sample from Stirling, and we're using the Queen of Hearts. So I haven't seen this one out on any YouTube videos from the people I follow. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I haven't seen this one. I'm not sure if this was like a Valentine's release. I know that it is associated with like Harley Quinn and the Joker type thing. So maybe it was just meant to go alongside the movie that came out. But yeah, Queen of Hearts in this nice sample puck here. You can see I took a little chunk out, put it into my shaving bowl. So this actually, it's a pretty warm, sweet scent. I wrote the scent notes down. So it's caramel, vanilla, berries, honeysuckle, amber, sandalwood, and jasmine. So I will say the warmer notes in that come across definitely. Caramel, vanilla, amber, sandalwood, they all kind of create this nice, warm, sweet base. I wouldn't say it's overly sweet. It's actually just pretty, like a pleasant sweetness. I do get a little bit of berries, just kind of bringing just a little bit of like tartness to the scent. The honeysuckle and jasmine, I feel like they're probably lost in there somewhere, just keeping it from going, too one-sided. Maybe it'll be more apparent once we lather up, but that's what we'll be using today, Queen of Hearts. I also kind of wanted to make this like a pseudo Schick Injector tutorial, like how to use Schick Injectors for people that may have picked one up recently and have a little bit of interest. Got a little bit of black coffee here with some sugar in the raw. So we're going to be using our Stirling bowl, our travel collapsible bowl. So you see it has a nice little heart down there, not intended. So I guess I didn't mention this on the first video that I premiered with this, but these are actually dog bowls or pet bowls, I should say. And those little agitators on the bottom are actually to keep the pet from eating too fast. So that's all this is just a repurposed pet food bowl. And this, somebody pointed out that this little hole here is just to kind of clip it onto a leash or something. I don't know. But yeah, so it's just a repurposed bowl. But it definitely gets the job done for shaving as well. Those agitators work well. So I'm going to be using my wolf whiskers today. It's nice custom black, red, and white custom here. If it would stop focusing on me and focus on the star of the show. I got a Frugal shave blood knot on here. Synthetic. Nice knot. Not the softest synthetic I've ever had, but not uncomfortable either. I will say I noticed the last time I used this, let's see if I can capture this. Probably can't capture it. But there's a chip. There's a chip on that top ring. I was very sad to see that. I don't know if I was being a little bit rough. I don't really clink my brushes along the side of the bowl, but shit's liable to happen, so that is unfortunate. Alright, so I'm going to be using my North Shore's custom Schick Injector here. Very nice with the black and red, but you could get a vintage Schick Injector on eBay for under 20 bucks. I mean, in good condition and in good working order. So you don't need anything like this. This was just because I'm kind of a Schick fanatic. So these are supply blades in the little cartridge style. It has this, they call this the key, this extended piece, they call it the key. And you push it into your razor to widen the top cap from the bottom cap and allow the blade to be slid through. It also has this little sliding bar here, and that actually is what pushes the blade forward. So a little bit of history is that Schick Injector actually got the idea for the injector loading system from rifles and how they kind of and load a bullet. That's kind of where they got this cartridge idea, and I think that's just badass. Anyhow, let's get with it. You can see here on this side, it has a little tab and it says insert key, but it's just painted over. So that's what we're gonna do. Gonna insert the key. That widens the top cap from the bottom cap. We're just gonna slide this across. Come on, focus on the razor, not me. There we go. One goes in, one goes out. And that one took a little swim. But that's that. And then you just pull it back out. Fresh blade loaded. Alright. Sometimes they go a little bit far, but as long as it's underneath those tabs on either end, you should be good to go. If it's for whatever reason hanging outside of those tabs, don't shave with it. It's liable to do all kinds of shit. So, that's how you load a Schick Injector. I may have shown that already on my channel, but I'm going to try to make this a little bit more comprehensive. So here we go. Got the brush wet. I'm going to get started on this lather. I'm sure this video is going to go a little bit long, but I'm trying to give people a little help if they get their first Schick Injector, or even already got it and are struggling with Schick Injectors. So I want to make sure that they have a place to go. I'm not sure if there's Schick Injector tutorials already out there. I really honestly haven't looked. And in all honesty, they are pretty intuitive. They are pretty easy to pick up and learn. It, of course, is a single edge, not a double edge. The blades, I find, last a little bit longer than double edge. They're a little bit more rigid, and Schick Injectors usually hold them in place pretty well. So, shouldn't have any troubles with that. Got a nice lather going. I noticed the last time I used this bowl that there was a decent amount of soap left behind, and I don't know if that's just because the agitators are so tall or if I just used way too much soap, but I want to make sure that I get as much of it incorporated as I can. So, looks like we got a decent lather here. We'll get started. Don't want to spend too much time on that. I want to make sure that the focus of this is the Schick Injector. Now, like I said, you could pick them up on eBay and Etsy. eBay for under 20 bucks. Pretty easily. I wouldn't get into some bidding war unless it's a special edition Schick. Schicks were made for quite a while. They were made in quite high volume. And you could get a Schick Injector pretty easily. eBay is going to be a little bit more, just a little bit more, maybe 25, 30, but you won't be bidding against anybody. So there's that. I've bought my Schicks from both sources. So there was a little bit of that Zingari Man soap that was kind of trace amounts left behind in the bowl, but I don't think it's affecting the scent of this at all because Zingari Man soaps are kind of lighter scented. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. But this is nice. Samples don't always carry the full amount of scent. I would say this is probably a 4 out of 5 as well. But it is really nice. I wouldn't say it's gourmandy, but it's definitely a warm, sweet scent. Not necessarily dessert-like, but warm and sweet with just a little bit of berry character. I still don't get a whole hell of a lot of florals. Got some on my nose. But definitely an enjoyable scent. It would definitely have a place in my den. I wouldn't hesitate to get this. But I like darker, warmer scents. And I wouldn't describe this as dark. I would just say warm and sweet. And get a little bit more from the shave bowl here. I think one thing about bowl lathering versus face lathering is that when you bowl lather, it almost seems like you don't have as much soap packed in here, because I find myself going back to the bowl, if that makes sense. It doesn't hinder the shave at all. I have plenty in the bowl, but just an observation. Alright, so here we go. What I want to point out is you see that edge, that face there. It's almost like what they say with gem style razors, and you want to ride the cap. And what that means is you want to put the angle of the blade up against your skin. You don't want to have it at a 30-degree angle. I should probably do this. So with DEs, we kind of maintain like a 30-degree angle, you know. With this, you're going to want to ride the cap. Have it parallel to your skin. And that, it really makes it easy to learn when you look at it in that facet. Just put it evenly with your skin. Maybe just a minor, like a very minor bit off the skin, but ride the cap. Schicks are generally lightweight. You don't need to apply pressure. They do protect you pretty well. It's a pretty intuitive head design. If you did decide to put some pressure, which is not recommended, but if you feel the need to, the design is probably still going to keep you fairly safe. But this is a sharp razor, mind you, sharp blade. And it's going to cut, you know what I mean? So long as you're not like on your 100th use or something where it's like as dull as a kitchen knife, it's going to cut. So you don't need to apply pressure. Same thing on the neck, just upside down for me. It almost gives you the angle that you need already. Just with the handle design, it almost gives you. You can see the head kind of naturally has like a little curve. They're very intuitive, I find. And try to avoid that blemish still. I would say loading these blades are easier than any other razor. DEs or SEs. The injector system is just very innovative. Depending on which blades you get, they might be a tad harsh on the first shave, but then after that they usually smooth out really nice. Oh, let's get the neck here. Let's get the neck. but they are really intuitive. David over at So Sharp David, he had his first injector shave the other day, and it seemed like he picked it up just right away. Now, he's been shaving for a long time, but granted, this is still his first use of a Schick style razor, and he got a good shave right away. I do think they're very intuitive. It's really not rocket science. You just kind of ride the cap. That's the biggest thing I could tell you. Because if you, as with any razor, if you go where you're too wide of angle, you're just going to be scraping the blade along your skin instead of cutting. So let me demonstrate. If you were like this, you know, you're just going to be scraping, or the safety bar is going to be touching. And if you go too far, you're obviously not going to be getting anything. You just ride the cap. Just put it up against your face. And it's really as simple as that. That's the most important. I would say pressure and knowing your beard growth are probably, you know, second and third. Making sure that you're not shaving directly against the grain on the first pass. Unless you've familiarized yourself with that. And, I mean, if you know you're capable of that, that's fine. That's not a common practice, though, by any means. Normally, people go with the grain, across the grain, and then finally against the grain. But if you've familiarized yourself with your skin and your technique permits you to go against the grain on the first pass, more power to you. But I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you're just learning. Very nice, very nice. The scent is still very much there and still very much enjoyable. Alright, that'll do. Pass 2, against the grain. Really, there's not much to teach on this. I guess I overthought this, but really there's not much to teach. Just ride the cap. Once you learn that, and you'll feel it. You'll feel what's comfortable, what's cutting, what's not cutting. But if you just try to keep in mind, ride the cap. Put that flat surface up against your skin to where it's flush. That'll do it for you. You don't need a ton of pressure. These are razor blades. It's gonna cut. You don't need to apply pressure. I do find it does have a somewhat forgiving sweet spot, though, where it'll cut with a variance, you know, and still be comfortable. It's not like if you're not exactly flush, it's not going to cut. There is a variance where you'll still be able to cut whether you're a little bit on, a little bit off. And it doesn't get uncomfortable. Unless you go too far, obviously. Very nice. Stirling, of course, is great stuff. No worries with performance there. Kind of go over that blemish. Hopefully I don't cut it open, but I think it's on the back side of its healing process where we're almost back to normal. I do wonder if, I maybe irritated it by shaving over it every day, but it does look like it's still healing, so that's good. Just kind of try to J-hook that Adam's apple area. And it's funny because I got a swirl right on my Adam's apple. So I gotta pay extra attention to that. I've been shaving every day lately, or every other day. So as far as the hair clogging up in here, it doesn't really happen. I try to get a couple swipes in, and I just rinse it out every now and then. It does have, let's see if I could get this for you. It does have a pretty wide lather hole there where the lather can slide through. And that is very helpful. The channel is almost the entire width of the blade. So the lather does pass through pretty damn easily. That's not, it's not really an area of frustration with Schicks whatsoever. These razors were, in my opinion, very, they were, it was almost like a genius level. I mean, DEs as well, but these Schicks I feel like were an improvement on DEs. And Gillette just had the money, the power, the recognition to go further than them. But they have immediately impressed me when I found them, and quickly became my favorite style of razor. And I just had a great shave with that, with the fresh blade. And this one wasn't even harsh on the first go. I just mentioned that because I have had that experience where sometimes shave number one on a fresh blade is harsh, but I didn't experience that in this particular shave. Alright. You know what? I think I done it again. I didn't even line up an aftershave. Sometimes pre-shave, pre-production, I'm thinking of talking points. I'm thinking of product specs and whatnot. Although I don't really drown you guys with too much product specs. I just kind of give my opinion most of the time. And if my opinion leads you to have some interest in the product, you could do your own research, because I'm not a salesman. I'm just giving you my experiences. But I do think of talking points before my shave starts, my video starts. And sometimes that gets in the way with actually getting all my damn products on the fucking counter for me to use. But we'll grab an aftershave. I have something in mind that is close. So, hopefully, if I've inspired you to pick up a Schick at all, or if you had interest on your own, this video will kind of give you a few tips to help you transition into Schick shaving. Let me grab an aftershave. There it is. All right. Barbearic from Purely Skinful. You can see the scent notes right there. I like that they have like the full description on the front. That's awesome. I like it when artisans give you a good idea of what the scent's going to be, because most of the time we're buying blind. So yeah, richly ripened blackberries are intertwined with well-aged southern bourbon, cherry tobacco, cedar wood, patchouli, redwood, and oak moss on a base of smoked vanilla, amber, and musk. So definitely not the same, but this one is also warm and sweet. I will say the berry note kind of takes the front for me. It does have a waterproof label, but I'm still going to pour out of the back just to preserve the front-facing label. This one kind of has a brownish and milky consistency. Definitely has a bright berry note on top, and body and base that's warm and sweet. Very enjoyable for me. Oh, hell yeah. That's a good, it's a complementing scent, I would say. Not necessarily matching, but a very nice complementing scent. And we got a good shave. So I'll do a quick recap here. Queen of Hearts by Stirling. Warm, sweet, just a touch of sweetness from the berries, and maybe on the very top, lightly scented, just a little bit of florals. Just a little bit. And these florals aren't even strong florals. If you're familiar with honeysuckle and jasmine, they're not necessarily like in-your-face florals, kind of like, I feel like rose does that a lot. These are much more complimenting. I used my Stirling Travel Collapsible bowl, if I could get a good angle on it. I also used my Wolf Whiskers Custom with the Frugal Shave Blood Knot. These cartridge blades are from Supply, which I do have interest in getting one of their modern Schick Injectors. I wish more razor makers in modern day would make a Schick Injector version. I would definitely be interested in that. Carve. Anyhow, North Shore Customs Schick Injector here with the red and black colorway. Absolutely a piece of art. If I was a millionaire, I'd buy every Schick custom that he's done. He has some fantastic customs. And I just saw he put up a Gillette Slim Adjustable that was a really badass colorway. It reminded me of the Cuban cigar colorway that Delta Echo Razorworks used to have, where it was like this nice brown over like a charcoal with a red trim. Oh my god, it was nice. Check out North Shore Customs. Even if you're not going to buy, he has a badass gallery of custom razors. Alright, I also used Purely Skinful's Barbearic Aftershave. This is a witch hazel and aloe aftershave. Very nice. This was a long one, guys, but I hope that these Schick Injector tips helped you out. And I do encourage you to check eBay or Etsy for a vintage and get yourself one. Really affordable, easy to clean up and sanitize, and they're great shavers, guys, I'm telling you. Anyhow, that's it for me. Have a great Saturday and a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.